welcome to a new video. So today I've got a job that I've been putting off for a long time because I'm a bit nervous about it, to be honest. I've got the super glue at the ready, and this is a box of pieces of a vase that Merlin knocked over and smashed. So I'm putting together the vase first because it doesn't actually matter too much if it's not watertight, because I only ever really used it for fake flowers because it's quite a tall vase like this, and usually I have a tall stem in it of a single sunflower or something like that. What I really am nervous about is my fairies. The fairies I've got on my windowsill. Sadly, a few of them need to go to fairy hospital and have their arms glued back on and that sort of thing, because the cats keep getting up on the windowsill and knocking them over, and it drives me mad. They know they're not allowed up there. Actually, I say they. Lyra is not the culprit, it is Rafiki. He's a little so-and-so. And yeah, wish me luck. I don't know, for some reason it's always Chris that does the super gluing whenever we need things super glued in this household, so this isn't something I've done before. I think this was a housewarming present when we moved in from Chris's sister, so I really would like to get it fixed if I can. I'm going to put on actually there's a YouTube video I want to catch up on, so I'm going to put that on, and yeah, hopefully this one goes alright, and then I can tackle the fairies afterwards. Yeah. Okay, I have an arm which goes on her, and I've just noticed the difference in colour in the arms, so they are fading in the sun, which I didn't realise. So I might try and think of somewhere else to keep them actually, other than in the windowsill where they might be safer. Oh, I didn't realise they're fading. Now she, sadly, is completely harmless. And I cannot find the other arm or her hand. So that arm goes there. I guess hopefully when I carry on clearing up the table, I'm hopefully going to find the hand and the other arm. I'm sure the other arm, I don't even remember the other arm coming off, so gutted about that one. And then this one is a little more straightforward, but she's quite heavy, so I'm a bit worried about I'll have to hold her in place a while. She has really been in the wars. Look, you can see she's already had her arm cut off. She's missing her fingers and thumb. And she's also missing a bit of her calf. Yeah, if anyone happens to have any Clarecraft fairies there for sale, do let me know. Just to explain quickly, I'm in my studio, which has been doubling up as my sewing studio and more recently as an art studio. I'm now painting more often, so I'm having to really declutter, get rid of loads of stuff from my sewing job and sort of just make a bit more space in here. So that's what's going on. I'm sorry if I'm a bit red-faced and flustered. I sat down to film and then a hedge cutter comes along outside making a right old racket, so I thought, okay, I'll take the dog out for a walk, and I've come back and now I'm just a little bit flustered because there's not a lot of daylight left. So I was getting out these portfolios that were squashed up against this wall here and buried under a ton of stuff. I finally managed to get to them. I've just given them a bit of a dust off because the plaster falls out of the ceiling just there. It's quite an old house. Down here and on top of it, so it's all covered in plaster dust, so it's just a bit gross. But where I've been doing, like I said, a bit more art lately, I've got pictures and things that need storing, and at the moment they're just flop on top of my fabric, and it's not ideal. So I've sort of pulled this out just to see what I've got really. I didn't realise I had these two. So I've got this, what size is that, A3 and an A4. I can't imagine the A4 is going to be that much use because I just tuck those inside my A4 sketch pads. Maybe it will, maybe it'll come in useful. And then this one, this is my GCSE one. This is what I used to carry on the bus to get to school. I don't know how worth it is to get all of this out, I'll be honest. I was hoping to find some big bits of paper too, because I know in the art course that I'm doing there's going to be some A1 pictures to do. I don't have any A1 paper, so I was hoping that I would find some that I could paint on the back of, and there is some. So that's good to know. Oh good, there's some black paper. So we've got this supplies list. It's like, I think it was like 4 sheets of black drawing paper, and I thought I don't want to buy a whole black sketch pad. So this is blooming perfect. Is there anything on it? There's nothing even on it, so I can cut this up. Oh well, already this was worthwhile doing then. I am so pleased about that. I'm wondering if there's any like posh watercolour paper in here. Do you know what, I'm looking in here and there's my A-level work as well that I did at college. I do that, and then I've got a sort of table. It might be quite nice going down memory lane for me, but I can imagine that's quite boring for you, so I might just have just a quick reminisce, look through this one. I wonder what's in here. Maybe there's nothing in here at all. Oh, I did some life drawing. Oh yes, I remember this. That's pretty much in proportion. Oh, these are all life drawing. Another piece of black paper. Oh, I see, I've started a life figure with chalk. Well, I'll leave that in here then, but it's good to know that I've got some more black paper. I can always use the back or cut this bottom bit off. Ah, this is the problem, there's nowhere to put anything in here. Nowhere at all. I'll just have a quick flick through. What this exercise I think has shown me, that I have learned more in 2 weeks of doing the mastering programme by Milan Art Institute than I learned in 4 years of doing GCSE and A-level Art at school and at college. That was like 99.9% utter rubbish. I'm so embarrassed. But at least now I know what paper I've got if I need some large sheets. There are quite a few bits of A1 sheets there that I could definitely use, and that black piece of paper is a big bonus. So it was worth doing, but I have to say I'm so embarrassed. I thought I was better. I thought I was better. Is that really bad to say? I thought I was a better artist when I was younger. Is that just the confidence of being young? I don't know. I've still got some stuff to sort out from last week's mess, so I'm going to get on with that, and then perhaps tomorrow we'll carry on with this room. There's a lot to do.
Earth Keeper. She rolls crumbs of soil beneath her toes. The sun warms her skin, and she traces her fingers along the cracks. So old, so beautiful. She leans down and whispers to the earth, "Don't worry, I'll take care of you."
Well, I wasn't sure whether I was going to do this, but I had a request to do a little show and tell of the work that I'm doing for the mastery program, the art course that I'm doing at the moment. So actually I thought it would be quite a nice record for myself, and also I have enjoyed finding other people on YouTube that are taking the course and seeing their work. So if it's not interesting to you, I'm sorry. I will try not to linger too long on it all. And also, sorry if my voice sounds a bit odd, I'm just getting over a cold. Anyway, let's go through it. So week 5 was actually meant to be a break, but of course I didn't do a break. I just went straight on to week 6, which was, and I've got it up here because I know I'll forget. So I think most of this whole last month has been about perspective and drawing people. So a bit of a mix of those two things. And the first lesson we did, the first painting, was called Fat Over Lean. I think I said before, we're given like a choice of sources, so I chose a wolf, and this was my one. And we were meant to be like showing the layers through, so we started with a thin layer, and then that layer was meant to show through a bit as we did a thicker layer, and so forth, so on and so forth. So that was that one, and I enjoyed that. I enjoyed that style. We were allowed to be a little bit more expressive with that one, and also we could do the drawing first onto the paper, which I prefer because I like to be able to rub out my mistakes. So the next bit was drawing people, and because I didn't really have people to draw, I actually used my fairy statues. I thought, well, they're 3D and they are in proportion with a human, so actually I thought, okay, they're tiny versions of people, but it's not that far different, and I really struggled. It was not easy taking that 3D shape and making it 2D. So and there were time limits for these as well. I can't remember off the top of my head how long we had for each of them, so as you can see, I did struggle with that. There's another one of one of the fairies. Didn't include the wings because I guess that bit is not quite so human. And then I could turn them round as well and do different angles. This one isn't great either. That was actually from a photograph. That was from a photo. That one is a bit better. I may as well show the rubbish ones as well as the ones that I'm proud of. Yeah, that one's not so bad. That was okay. It's funny how copying a photograph is just so much easier than real life, even a statue. But that one, I think the legs are a bit out of proportion there, but I did do the measurements. I did do the measurements with that measuring tool I showed last time. I don't know why I got it so wrong. And then the last one that week was to choose a photo of a statue and make it a little bit more expressive in charcoal. And I quite like that one. Yeah, so that was week 6. So the next week was the cityscapes and perspective and that sort of thing. Okay, so this was the first drawing, charcoal city subtraction. I did all of these of Venice because I've been there. A lot of the places I hadn't been. Actually, they had done some of New York, but I just love Venice, so that's why all of my cityscapes were Venice. I did struggle a little with the subtraction. Again, I think I talked about this last time. Cartridge paper is just too nice of a surface. I've started using this paper, which was from W.H. Smith's, which is much smoother, cheaper probably, but it works much better for the subtraction technique, where you take an eraser and different kinds of erasers and take away the highlights, because it all looked a bit dark and not great contrast. So I think that's why. I'm gonna blame my materials.
Oh, I think that was another quick study in perspective. It's very pale. You weren't meant to do any shading or anything, it was just to practice the different perspectives. We went on to do an oil painting. Again, I picked Venice. Turns out, now I do have a little gripe with the Milan Art Institute here. This isn't a photo. I don't know if they thought it was a photo, but I had to do some Googling and I found out the name of the artist. Did I write it on the back? I've written it down somewhere so I don't forget, because this was one of their sources. Have I got it upside down? I've got it upside down. So that's my painting. I did spend a lot of time on it, and to be honest, it could be better. It's not my favourite one I've done, but it's also not bad. But yeah, the sources that we're given to choose from are meant to be royalty free, and I'm pretty sure somebody else's painting is not royalty free. So if I do come to sell that, I'm sure, as I've got the name of the artist and I can say it's after so and so, I'm not trying to pass it off as my own, then I'm sure I could if someone's interested. And the other thing we did that week was a charcoal picture, a crowd of people. I found this one very difficult. Yeah, so it doesn't look like it, but I actually spent a lot of time on that. These are things I just haven't spent time drawing before, so for a first attempt in a way, I don't think I'm doing too badly. Drawing and painting from life. And I had to cheat a little bit with this one. I did draw Chris. Again, we were meant to be on a timed limit. I can't remember how long I had, but there he is. Kind of looks like him, but not very much. Definitely got to practice this. I hope he doesn't mind me showing you these because they're not very good. So there's a drawing of Chris I did. Not the most flattering of angles, but I think it does look like him. I think this one is better. So we then did alla prima paintings, and I think that's a bit better. My mum, again from a photograph from last year. I was quite pleased with that, but I think she's probably prettier in real life. Yes, that's everything we did last month. I will need to do some more practices with drawing people, particularly in real life. I know I've got to sort of catch up with that because we were meant to do a few more. But I have been enjoying it. It's sort of been a mix of enjoying it and finding it difficult, because a lot of these things are just new to me, and it is a little bit difficult when what you achieve is not quite as good as you want it to be. But I don't think I'm doing too badly. I managed to get a little bit ahead the rest of the time. I've been continuing with my room, still tidying it up. It is slowly getting there. Right, let's give you a quick update. This is the space underneath my art table, which is complete chaos at the moment, that you might have seen that I emptied completely in the last video. Well, it's now got inside it the 2 baskets from the other side of the room, the fringing that I decided to keep, and the bag of velvet, stretched cotton velvet that I decided to keep. And in front of that we've got a bag of all the fabric samples that I'm going to make blankets and cushion covers with. And this bag over here that's got my old damaged cushion covers that need mending or altering or using bits of fabric from to make new cushion covers. So that's going to be a project coming up quite soon, I hope, because I'd like to clear this because I've just about got room for my sewing machine pedal in the middle. That's it. I've left those deliberately in the way so that I use it up and get it out of the room. So that's actually created quite a nice large space just there. Got all this to tidy up, and the next thing I'm going to do is go through what's on top of these 2 stacked baskets, because I reckon I could get rid of whatever is in them, because I think one of them is old Khaleesi costume material, which nobody wants a Khaleesi costume since they saw the last episode of Game of Thrones anymore. So I've got those that can go or be used for another project. And look, this is everything I'm getting rid of. Quite a nice stack here, to be honest. I'm quite pleased with myself. All of these bags that are full of trim and other bits and bobs, either to sell or donate to. There's a sort of crafty place near us that does craft classes for people, so they might want it. I don't know. That's the sort of thing they do. They use up old bits and bobs. So hopefully it will find a good home. Wow. Now that is a flip load of fringing. Who needs that much fringing in their life? Oh my goodness.
So there's something I'm quite proud of actually, and I'm part of the art club also run by the Milan Art Institute, and they run a competition every month, and there are 5 winners each month, and this month I won one of them. I'm so chuffed. This was my competition entry and I won best in theme, and the theme was elements, so I did earth. I'm thinking actually of doing a series, doing 3 more for the other elements. Yeah, because I enjoyed that one. That's probably my favourite painting I've ever done actually. I'm quite pleased with it. I'm pleased with the whole abstraction and realism elements. Yeah, I think it turned out quite cool. I don't know if I'll be able to replicate that again. It's one of those things, was that a fluky one-off? But I think it turned out quite well, so I'm pleased with that. We've had such rubbish weather here. Today is actually, the sun is actually out, at least for the moment. But all this artwork and creativity has really helped me get through these miserable March days that we've been having. It really has. I hope April cheers up a little bit. Fingers crossed it does. And I will see you again soon. Take care. Thank you for joining me. Oh, and subscribe if you haven't done already. Give this a thumbs up if you enjoyed watching. And I'll see you soon. Take care. Bye.